fighter knows how to use that reach. This is going to be a shot night.
This bout is scheduled for 8 rounds of boxing. Fighting out of the red corner from Pensacola, Florida, here is a...
So much hype surrounding this big matchup. Can't wait to see what goes. And there's the bell for round one. They have no respect for each other's punching power. Straight right just misses. Not too many seats to be had in this arena as the hype continues to build for this showdown.
You can walk into an arena and be the hero. The pressure, the expectation, the desire from the fans. You can't get away from it. Ignore them. Lock it up. I know it's hard. I can hardly hear you, Todd. You've got to ignore them. Get on with your job.
Every time they throw a shot, they get countered. It's bombs away. Every time he throws a punch, a receipt is coming right back. A very competitive round here so far.
Perfectly matched. Skill for skill, tap for tap. Now this fight will say, you know what, I'm just that notch above you, and so I've got to respect both of them more than happy.
Has to be careful for that receipt. It's always coming. Just missed with that jab. The bravery being shown here is just incredible. There's a counter shot. That left hook missed. A very competitive round with 10 seconds left. Let's talk about Roy Jones in that last round. At this point, you gotta believe he can't win on the scorecards. Gonna need a knockout.
Wow, it's like two different leagues.
Good work, that's it, now breathe. Breathe, just get up there and let's reset. Forget about that round. It was a bad night, don't give him any free shots.
Here's the bell for round two. So not the best round, but let's see if they can turn it around here.
This is one of those situations. You've just been hurt, you've got to get out there again. Be smart, be sharp, don't be a fool, don't get sucked in. Make him fight your fight. Hold him, tie him up, just until your head clears again, and your legs come back again. Because if you don't, he's going to pop you off.
This counter-puncher is going to wait for you to move first, and then will strike like a snake. Keep an eye on this guy.
To beat a counter-puncher, you've got to take them out of their pace. Do not wait for them, because if you wait, they'll pepper and pop you all night long and rush them.
And that left hook doesn't find its target. The counter-punching. At the halfway point, and both of these fighters know the round is still up for grabs.
Skill for skill, tap for tap, just like a match made in heaven.
Beautiful counter shot. This is with the straight left. Cannot throw out a lazy jab in this fight. You'll get knocked out. We wanted action, and they are giving us action. Despite what the judges' scorecards read, there are no losers in this one. Let's talk about Roy Jones in that last round. From this moment forward, he cannot afford about to lose another round.
But Mel, sometimes it can be the sweetest sound.
Yes, I like that round. Good. Feel good?
And there's the bell to start round 3. It has been all one-way traffic. How do they turn this around?
They've had 1 minute to recover. Now they've got to bluff it. They've got to bluff it. They've got to come out now and style it out. Get on the back foot, jab, rest on the jab. Be smart and pop until your legs come back. Then put the pressure on.
Those counter punches have to hurt. Nice counter shot. Nice counter punch right up the middle. Not a lot of punch output. Thought there might be more action here. And he scores with the counter. Every time they drop their guard, they get caught. Punch, counter punch. Halfway through the round, and it's pretty much even Steven.
They're so close, so close. How can you separate them? It's going to be a hard night tonight for the judges.
Oh, that punch. When are we going to see a jab from these two? A perfect counter shot. I want to think of holding on here for a minute. That time counter shot. You know the scorecards are going to be all over the place in this one. Talk about Roy Jones in the last. There's the bell to start round 4. Coming off a very tough round. Let's see what they do here.
That was a tough last round. Now you've got to make sure he doesn't put it on him. That's what he's going to try and do. So tie him up, hold him, lean on him. Don't get drawn into a fight. Not yet. Not until your senses have come back.
Deciding to let it all hang out here in this round. The stamina is off the charts. Nice counter. Neither one of them want this to go to the judges' scorecards. Force they go, neither fighter willing to back down.
Skill for skill, tap for tap, just like a match made in heaven.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but when you're dealing with someone with so much speed, you've got to get your timing right.
You've got to ruffle their feathers, Todd. You cannot let them get comfortable, drag them, get them complaining to the referee, because once somebody with excellent foot speed and excellent power gets into the rhythm, the fight is over.
Catch and shoot. He misses with that straight left. Very close round with 10 seconds to go. Talk about Roy Jones. And there's the bell to start round 5. Let's see how they bounce back here in this round.
Now he knows he's being hurt. He's going to come out and put the pressure on. He's going to throw the kitchen sink at you. You've got to be ready for that. Don't fight fire with fire. Hold him off. Be smart, because he's going to try and put you under pressure. He knows your legs are gone. He knows your head's not cleared. Be sharp.
That misses. In the early rounds of the fight, you'll see two boxers feel each other out, test each other's power, and I think this boxer has decided I can walk through anything that lands.
Todd, you know what? Sometimes on a bloody ring with fights like that, and you punch them, you just want to run. You want that spaceship to come and lift you out there because you think, what the hell am I going to do now?
Gotta like what you're seeing as we reach the halfway point of this round.
Perfectly matched, skill for skill, tap for tap. Now this fight will say, you know what, I'm just that notch above you, and so I've got to respect both of them more than equal.
Well done with that counter shot. The jab doesn't quite connect. Can you believe it? Roy Jones Jr. is on the back foot now. Pensacola's finest is down. A good body shot will paralyze you, and as you can see here, that's exactly what happened.
A shot from the gods took him out.
One, two, three, four, five, six, seven.
Talk about Roy Jones in that last round. Let's see how the game plan changes after that big knockdown. There's the bell to start round 6. His eyes look pretty clear here, Johnny. How do you think he's going to do after being knocked down in the last round?
That knockdown we just saw was a heavy knockdown. I'd be very, very surprised if he come out fresh as a daisy. That's not going to happen. He's got to hustle now. He's got to bluff him.
Jab doesn't score. Has to be careful for that receipt. It's always coming. What do you think of this fight so far, Johnny?
They know the second they touch you, it's done. They're that powerful.
They need to be careful they don't push themselves out here. He threw a punch and just got countered. You can see the heavy breathing, but that's not slowing him down. That one lands. Perfect counter lands. You've got someone with the hand speed that this fighter possesses. How do you deal with him?
This can be so frustrating. Him is such a fast fighter that can throw 3-4 shot combinations before you even let one off. That creates frustration, and that's when it gets hard.
And he wasn't ready for that counter punch. This round's still up for grabs with just 10 seconds to go. About Roy Jones in that last round. That bell could not have come soon enough for this guy.
Now it's a tough one.
Here comes round 7. That corner has got to find a way to get some momentum behind their fighter.
That was a tough last round. Now you've got to make sure he doesn't put it on him. That's what he's going to try and do. So tie him up, hold him, lean on him. Don't get drawn into a fight. Not yet. Not until your senses have come back.
Incredible work rate. The only fear you have with this fighter is has he punched himself out? Good one. That counter shot lands. Talk about punches and bunches. That's the mantra for this fighter with that exceptional hand speed.
So you're getting in there with someone that's so fast, you're prepared to take a licking because you've got to get some before you get in close.
Jab not finding its target. He just punches that up. Swing and a miss with the right hook. You can't throw out a lazy jab in this fight. You're gonna get knocked out. This round could go either way. 10 seconds to go. Alexander Usyk in that last round. I'm worried about these two fighters gassing out as this fight goes on.
You cannot...
There's the bell to start round 8. How much do they have left in the tank after that last round?
An amazing pace and tempo set in the last round. Can you keep this up? Me personally, I don't think that's possible. And if they can, their training, their conditioning would have been ridiculous, like they're in the army. But these guys, if they can keep up this pace, we are in for a great night.
What do you think of what we've seen so far from these two boxers, Johnny?
This is when you get in the ring feeling like you're King Kong because you know you've got a chin that is not going to get dented.
That big hook doesn't land. Swing and a miss with the hook. A lot of effort being exerted here. Good counter punch. This fighter has been extremely aggressive so far, Johnny, but how do they keep it up over the distance of this fight?
I've seen some aggressive fighters like this, and they are a nightmare. If you are not fit, that is the worst place to be. Having second thoughts in the ring.
He needs to be careful not to punch himself out. Beautiful counter punch. That's it, a unanimous decision win.
Unanimous. You know what? Smart that is. Total check.
Welcome to the wonder that is the Atlantis venue. It doesn't get any more unique than this. And watching this live with me is Johnny Nelson.
Todd, always a pleasure to work with you. Always a pleasure.
Sugar Ray Leonard, one of the greatest all time. What a pleasure it is to be. We waited a long time, and now we've got this fight. That jab doesn't find a home. Missing with that jab. There is so much hype surrounding this match, I wonder if it can actually live up to the hype.
You have certain fighters that are born for this, that are made for the big crowd. And look at that corner right there. That is that fighter right there. They're elevated, lifted. It's like they're not touching it around. This is what they were born for.
The streaks continue to score. Nice counter shot. Catch and shoot. And they figure out the combination to this thing.
Skill for skill, tap for tap. She's like a match made in heaven.
They exchange punches. Someone tell these two that they can be defensive for a minute if they want to. And he wasn't ready for that counter punch. Beautiful counter punch. The straight right just misses. Looking to land the hook. This round's still up for grabs with just 10 seconds to go. Let's talk about Robinson in that last round. Well, he is in big trouble here. He may have been saved by the bell.
Leaves a knockout without a doubt. Leaves a...
Well, we've just taken a big breath, and here we go again. That corner has got to find a way to get some momentum behind their fighter.
They've had 1 minute to recover. Now they've got to block it. They've got to block it. They've got to come out now and style it out. Get on the back foot, jab, rest on the jab. Be smart and pop until your legs come back. Then put the pressure on.
Punch, counter punch. How about that time counter shot? When you're fighting a counter puncher, the feint can be such a good weapon. Pretend you're going to punch, make the counter puncher throw a punch, and then you counter them.
You're fighting a counter puncher, you've got to dummy a shot. Make them react from that, then react then. I know it's hard to think that way, but counter punchers, they're watching you every move, that every trick.
Perfect counter shot. I can't believe we're only halfway through. Oh my goodness. I want to see that one more time.
That's lights out right there.
One, two, three, four, five.
Showing a lot of heart to beat the count there.
Somebody can small blood here. They can small blood. They've got to be smart. Get in there. Then boom, back in the same spot again. It happened once. You got away with it. You can do it again.
And he scores with the counter. So much for boxing. This is a fight. Have to be careful for that receipt. It's always... So final 10 seconds of the round, and he is looking really sharp. Let's talk about Robinson in that last round. Well, this fighter has been down twice. They've got to up their game here. This fight. There's the bell for round 3. You've got to be feeling confident now after what happened last round.
2 knockdowns and you're coming back from that. That's near on impossible because your head must be all over the place. Your legs would feel like jelly. What can they tell you in the corner? All they can do is wake you up. They can't even go into game plan.
Big hook. Good thing it didn't land. Nice work to block that right uppercut. Well, Sugar Ray Robinson just got rocked. And it appears they weathered the storm. How? I'm not sure.
Defense is everything because they got shot once, they know they can get caught again. So for now, just defense, work on defense, blocking and stopping and shooting.
Back and forth they go in this round. The momentum continues to shift.
Perfectly matched, skill for skill, tap for tap. Now this fight will say, you know what, I'm just that notch above you, and so I've got to respect both of them more than happy.
Every time they throw a shot, they get countered. Got out of the way, that right hook. You'd like to see more jabs. A very competitive round with 10 seconds left. Let's talk about Robinson in that. Back at it in round 4. After a really strong round, let's see if they can finish the job.
Todd, my motto is, if it's not broken, why change it? An excellent last round, everything works. Wait for the reaction. Until then, keep doing what you've just been doing because you've won that hands down.
Nice counter. They both want the knockout. Has to be careful for that receipt. It's always coming. That counter punch caught him clean. Jab slightly off target. Good counter punching. He threw a punch and just got countered. A very competitive round here so far.
They're so close, so close. How can you separate them? It's going to be a hard night tonight for the judges.
He misses with that jab. What do you think of this fight so far, Johnny?
Now this is about desire. This is about character. This is about want.
Every time they drop their guard, they get caught. Not a lot of punch output. Thought there would be some more action here. Every time he throws a punch, a receipt is coming right back. Talk about Robinson in that last round. Well, we know they've got the advantage so far, but how does this match get turned around?
Dominance without a doubt.
Here we go in round 5. Who's going to land the first big shot? They've got all the momentum on their side after that last round. Let's see what they do here.
Todd, my motto is, if it's not broken, why change it? An excellent last round, everything works. Wait for the reaction. Until then, keep doing what you've just been doing because you've won that hands down.
You can see the heavy breathing, but that's not slowing him down. confidence do you build when you're... Oh, right there! Robinson got buzzed there. He's in trouble. And it appears the onslaught is over, at least for now.
Green Days now needs to steady the pace. Get the pace back to normal.
Pretty close fight here in this round.
Perfectly matched. Skill for skill, tap for tap. Now this fight will say, you know what, I'm just that notch above you, and so I gotta respect both of them more than I could.
Nice counter punch right up the middle. There's a counter shot. They better start respecting each other's punching powers. Doesn't quite connect. Perfect counter lands. Despite what the judges' scorecards read, there are no losers in this one. Let's talk about Robinson in that last round. And a round that seemed like... There's the bell to start round 6. Coming off a very tough round. Let's see what they do here.
That was a tough last round. Now you've got to make sure he doesn't put it on him. That's what he's going to try and do. So tie him up, hold him, lean on him. Don't get drawn into a fight. Not yet. Not until the senses have come back.
You've got someone with the hand speed that this fighter possesses. How do you deal with it?
What you've got to do, Tony, is anticipation. You've got to wait. You just got to throw caution to the wind and just hope. You're never going to know where the shots are coming from. You just got to put in your guess.
When are we going to see a jab from these two? There's a scoring blow. Halfway through the round, and I don't know who's got the advantage. Great stuff.
Skill for skill, tap for tap. Just like a match made in heaven.
He needs to be careful not to punch himself out. Well, with welterweights, they sometimes bring you the best of both worlds. Fast hands and power.
This is about ego. Get your ego in check, Tar, because if you fight a man that is used to doing this, he's confident and comfortable doing this, why are you giving him that chance to dance that dance? Step out of the way, box him, frustrate him, because if you let him get away with it, he throws you down.
Very close round with 10 seconds to go. Talk about Robinson in that. Here we go. It's round 7. That last round was huge for him, Johnny. How does he keep the momentum going?
Todd, my motto is, if it's not broken, why change it? An excellent last round, everything works. Wait for the reaction. Until then, keep doing what you've just been doing because you've won that hands down.
We knew his chin would get tested in this fight, and it failed him miserably.
Where did that come from?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So back into the fray again, but how much do they have left?
Gotta look at his corner, look at the instructions. They're telling him to calm down, make the most of the count, get up, breathe, and move, get behind the referee, save yourself a bit of time. You just need to make your way back to the corner, somehow get to the end of the round.
Looks like he's leading halfway through this round.
Perfect game plan. The thing is, can anybody figure out what to do to change this? It's a perfect start.
Robinson hit hard, and he may be ready to go. Disaster. monster averted, it seems. We continue on.
Been a tough round so far. It's been a tough round. What do they do? What do they tell him when he goes back to the corner? How are they going to get through this?
This fighter expending a lot of energy in this round. Beautiful counter shot. Final 10 seconds here, unless something major happens. I think we all know who won that one. Let's talk about Robinson in that last round. Beaten, bruised, and battered, but somehow he's still in it.
Unbelievable.
Round 8, and we're off again. They barely... So he will take a knee here and get a nice reprieve from the action.
What you see right there is a heartbroken fighter.
One punch could change the entire complexion of this fight. These punches coming from every angle. What do you think of what we've seen so far from these two boxers, John?
Some fighters are just gifted with such hand speed, footwork, movement. They are gifted. They are the chosen few.
Those counter punches have to hurt. Both fighters landing in these exchanges. Judges going to have a tough job.
They're so close, so close. How can you separate them? It's going to be a hard night tonight for the judges.
By the way, the connect percentages have to be off the charts. Starting to take some deep breaths now, but still fighting hard. A lot of effort being exerted here. Down goes Sugar Ray Leonard. I don't care who you are. When you get caught with a body shot like that, you're going down.
Even I've got...
1, 2, 3,
4. The 3 judges agree, and we've got unanimous decision.
They've done it before, now they're doing...
2.